In our today's lecture, we will talk about the hematological effects of radiations, and we will discuss about the functions of hemopoietic system as well, and we will also look at the response of each blood cell and the cell survival. So starting with our introduction, in the 1920s and in the 1930s, what basically was used to happen, every radiological technologist had to pay a weekly visit to the uh, blood laboratory. Why? Because then they were not used to follow the radiation protection rules, because then there were no such radiation protection equipments available, and also there were no specific rules to follow, and they also didn't know about the threshold value for the radiologic workers. So how they were used to assess every radiological technologist, they were used to um, do a weekly blood test on each radiological technologist, and then they were used to evaluate the value of leukocytes. So if the leukocytes were depressed by greater than 25% of the normal level, that was what mostly institutes had a radiation safety regulation then. So if the leukocytes were depressed by greater than 25% of the normal value, then the employee was either given time off, or he or she was assigned to a known radiation activity until the leukocyte count returned to normal. And now we basically know about the normal threshold value for every worker, and now we know that the minimum whole body dose necessary to produce a measurable hematological depression is approximately 25 rad, that is 250 mgyt. So starting with the function of the hemopoietic system, you already know that the function of hemopoietic system is the production of the cellular blood components, and the tissues that are basically involved in the hemopoietic systems are the lymph nodes, spleen and thymus. And in a child, we have already studied it, and we know that in a child the bone marrow is uniformly distributed throughout the skeleton, but in the adults the active bone marrow that is responsible for the hemopoiesis, that will be restricted to the flat bones, for example the ribs, sternum, the skull and the ends of the long bones. So the principal effect of radiation on the hemopoietic system is the depression of blood cell number in the peripheral circulation, and this is a time dose related mechanism. So there will be the time and the dose involved, and the depression of the blood cells will increase by increasing the dose. And one other important thing is that the effects will be determined by the normal growth and the maturation of these cells. So in this image you can see that there is a stem cell in the center that is called the pluripotential stem cell. Why? Because it has potential to develop into several different types of mature blood cells. You can see that this stem cell is differentiating into other mature cells. You can see the megakaryoblast that is differentiating into the thrombocytes, the pronomoblast that is differentiating into the erythrocytes, myeloblast that is further differentiating into the neutrophil, and the eosinophil that we are calling the granulocytes. So from this single pluripotential stem cell, a number of types are producing, and these are the lymphocytes that we know are responsible and they have a function in the immune response. The granulocytes that fight against the bacteria, thrombocytes that are also called the platelets, and they are involved in the clotting of the blood, and the erythrocytes that are the transporting cells for the oxygen. And these cells will develop at different rates in the bone marrow, and they will be released to the peripheral blood cell at different times. So if we talk about the developing granulocytes and the erythrocytes, then you need to remember that they spend approximately 8 to 10 days in the bone marrow, while the thrombocytes take approximately 5 days in the bone marrow. The lymphocytes are produced over varying times, and they have varying lifetimes in the peripheral blood. Some have a lifetime of approximately hours, and some have a life of approximately in years. And in the peripheral blood, the granulocytes have a lifetime of only a couple of days, while the thrombocytes have a lifetime of approximately 1 week, and the erythrocytes have a lifetime of nearly 4 months. So they all have different times and different rates of release in the peripheral blood cells that we need to remember. And hemopoietic system is another example of cell renewal system. Just like we studied in gonads, it also has a cell renewal system. Normal cell growth and the development determine the effect of radiation on the system. Now we will talk about the cell survival. As I have mentioned earlier, that the dose response basically depends on how much dose has been given to the cells, and it also depends on the time in terms of days. So the basic or principal effect of radiation on the hemopoietic system is the decrease in the number of all types of blood cells in the circulating peripheral blood in the peripheral blood, and the lethal injury to the stem cells, as it is an immature cell, so definitely it will be radiosensitive, and the radiations can cause the depletion of these cells into the mature circulating cells. So in this graph we have different effects of radiations on the hemopoietic cells, and we have divided each graph into 3 sections, and we have taken them at different doses, and then we have seen the responses. And these figures are basically taken from the results of observations on the experimental animals and on the radiotherapy patients, and the few radiation accident victims. So if we talk about the generalized effect of radiations on the lymphocytes, then you can see that the first cell to become affected are the lymphocytes, and these cells are reduced in numbers, that is called the lymphopenia, within minutes or hours following the exposure, and they are very slow to recover because the response is so immediate. The radiation effect is apparently a direct one on the lymphocyte themselves rather than on the stem cells. So the effect is more on the lymphocytes than on the stem cells. So at the 250 mg/t, that is approximately 25 rad, you can see the difference. The first cells to get affected are the lymphocytes, and you can clearly see the lymphopenia happening in this section. So we can say that the lymphocytes and the spermatogonia are the most radiosensitive cells in the body. Then if we talk about the granulocytes, then you can see that there is a rapid rise in the number of the granulocytes, and we call it the granulocytosis, and you can see the rapid rise in each graph at different doses. You can see the rapid rise in granulocytes or the granulocytosis at 250 mGyt as well as at 2 GYT and 6 GYT, that is approximately 200 rats and 600 rats respectively. So there will be a rapid rise in number, and then you can see a rapid decrease, and then a slower decrease in number that we will call the granulocytopenia. So once first of all there will be a rapid rise that you can see that is highlighted in blue color, and you can see first of all the granulocytosis, then there is a rapid decrease, and then you can see that the decrease is developing more slowly. So if the radiation dose is moderate, then an abortive rise in the granulocyte count may occur 15 to 20 days following the radiation. We are talking about the moderate dose, for example at 2 GYT, that is approximately 200 rads. We are saying that if the dose is moderate, then an abortive rise in the granulocyte count may occur 15 to 20 days following the radiation, and you can clearly see the rapid rise, that is the peak of the granulocytosis, at approximately 15 to 20 days, and the time is taken on the x-axis in terms of days, and the gap is approximately of 40 days. So if we measure it, then the time will be the peak time of granulocytosis will be approximately at 15 to 20 days following the radiation, and the minimum granulocyte levels are reached approximately 30 days following the irradiation. That you can see the rapid decrease has been started before the 40 days following the radiation. Recovery, if we talk about the recovery, then the recovery can take approximately 2 months, and after the 40 days you can see the recovery happening. So the recovery will be approximately in 2 months if it occurs. Next we will talk about the platelets, and the depletion of platelets, that is also called the thrombocytopenia, following the radiation develops more slowly, because the reason is the longer time is required for the more sensitive precursor cells to reach the maturity, and you can see the response is different. The platelet response is different to the radiations as compared to the other cells, that are the granulocytes and the lymphocytes. So the platelets, the depletion of the platelets following the radiation develops more slowly. Thrombocytes reach a minimum in about 30 days and recover in approximately 2 months, that is the similar response to the granulocytes. So once again, thrombocytes will reach a minimum in about 30 days and they will recover in approximately 2 months, that is similar to the response kinetics of the granulocytes. Lastly, we will talk about the erythrocytes, and these are the less sensitive than the other blood cells because of their very long lifetime in the peripheral blood, and injury of these cells is not apparent for a matter of weeks, and the total recovery may take approximately 6 months to a year. So that's all for today. And if we summarize our lecture, then we have discussed about the hemopoietic cell survival, and we have discussed about the hemopoietic system, in which we talked about the various blood cells, the function and the tissues of hemopoietic system, and we also talked about the hematological effects. In the hematological effects, we discussed uh, that the every radiological technologist in 1920s and 1930s had to pay a weekly visit to the laboratory to get themselves checked for the radiation dose, and how they were used to evaluate it, that they were used to evaluate that by checking the value of leukocytes, and if the level was depressed by greater than 25% of the normal level, then the employee was either given time off or assigned to the non-radiation activity. Then we talked about the hemopoietic system, and because we know that the function of the hemopoietic system is the production of cellular blood components, and the components of the hemopoietic system are the lymphoid tissues, the lymph nodes, spleen and thymus. And then we studied that the different blood cells basically differentiate from the pluripotential stem cell, because it can develop into several different types of mature cells. And then we talked about the different traits and the time of release of each blood cell. We talked about the developing granulocytes and the erythrocytes that spend approximately 8 to 10 days in the bone marrow, and the thrombocytes that have a lifetime of approximately 5 days in the bone marrow. And in the peripheral blood, the granulocytes have a lifetime of only a couple of days, and the thrombocytes have a lifetime of approximately 1 week, while the erythrocytes have a lifetime of nearly 4 months. Then we talked about the hemopoietic cell survival, and we discussed this figure in which they have presented the responses of various cells at different doses and at different time in term of days. And we said that the lymphocytes and the spermatogonia are the most radiosensitive cells in the body. Why? Because the lymphocytes have the immediate response to the radiation effect on themselves rather than on the stem cells. So we concluded that the lymphocytes and the spermatogonia are the most radiosensitive cells in the body. Then we individually discussed the responses of the blood cells, and we said that the granulocytes would have a rapid rise in the number that we said is called the granulocytosis, and then that would be followed by a rapid decrease, and then there will be a slower decrease in number, granulocytopenia. And then we talked about the time of the granulocytosis, and we said that if the dose is moderate, then the rise would be approximately at 15 to 20 days following the radiation, and the minimum granulocyte level will be reached at approximately 30 days following the radiation, and the recovery can take place approximately at 2 months. Then we discuss about the response of platelets, and we said that thrombocytes reach a minimum level in about 30 days and recover in approximately 2 months, and they have similar response kinetics to the granulocytes. And then we said that the erythrocytes are less sensitive than the other blood cells because of their very long lifetime in the peripheral blood, and injury of these cells is not apparent of a matter of weeks, and the total recovery may take to approximately 6 months to a year. So that's all for today, and if you have any question um, regarding this lecture, then you can ask. Thank you so much.